Hey everybody, and welcome to Buckshot Acres, our very first YouTube channel actually, so welcome. I wanted to start off at the little goat pen where we just had our little baby goat born, I say about a week ago, and I couldn't get any footage of it at that time, but her name is Snowball because she decided to be born in the coldest weather here in Texas, which we don't have much of. But I've separated the mama goat and the baby goat from the other ones just because their shelter wasn't complete at the time she was born, and it was raining and it was cold. So I figured it'd be best to put them in a separate location. She's doing well, surprisingly enough. She toughed out the cold. I want to see if I can get her for you. So this is Snowball, and her mother is very protective, as you can see, but she is not aggressive, luckily enough, and the baby's pretty calm when you hold her. So she's pretty sweet. Mom's sweet, first time mother, and she's doing a great job. So the point of this YouTube channel is not to make any money or anything. It's really just kind of a hobby to help motivate me to do more work around the homestead and catch up on things and kind of give me a purpose. Hey, come over here. And kind of give me a purpose. The little baby's curious. She's over there sniffing the tripod. Come here. And so the whole point is to show you how I kind of homestead while working a full-time job and how challenging it can be sometimes, but to basically show you that it's possible, not to include also being the only one that lives here. So it's not like I have a spouse or somebody that can help me with chores while I'm gone or make sure that the animals are okay while I'm at work. Luckily, I have a girlfriend that'll do that occasionally, but for the most part, my neighbors are the ones that will kind of step in and help. They actually let me know when this little one was born, and they basically saved her because I was stuck at work, full-time law enforcement officer, and I was coming back from a whole 3-4 cities over while it was raining and about 30 degrees outside. So it is possible. It is more challenging, but I just want to let you know that it's definitely something that you can tackle on your own, whether it's a 1 acre, 5 acre, 10 acre or more. Right now I got 10 acres on this homestead. Not that I utilize much of it. A lot of it's wooded as well, but some of it is cleared out. And we just cleared out the fence line, and hopefully we can get a fence put in here soon enough. So just as a heads up, it is really cold out here, and I do not do the cold whatsoever. This is Texas, and it's not common for us. So it's actually a struggle trying to get animals safe in this weather, especially being my first time or first full year on the homestead with animals. So we took a look at the baby goat and her mom. Right now we're here at the chicken coop with a run. Right now the roosters run free, but the hens stay in here with one rooster, just in case we decide we want little baby chicks. And I'll give you a quick glimpse of what it looks like. It's not in the best condition. Again, I'm doing everything to the best of my ability. So you can see the chickens here. Some flakes to kind of dry everything up. Right now they have one nesting box, and then the fan for the summer. Thank you, buddy. Their water pail is over here, which gets cleaned out daily, and then they have their trash can gravity feeder that they kind of eat out of, and then their roosting areas. Pretty simple, but not as good as it can be, as I see on some people's homesteads. The point of homesteading, again, on a budget, on your own, and without help is basically the point of this YouTube channel. And while working a full-time job. Like I said, I am in law enforcement. I work all types of hours. My schedule constantly changes. Hey. My schedule constantly changes. I don't have the luxury of having somebody just walk over and check on the animals all the time. It is still my responsibility, and I'm determined to basically make it work. Regardless of how things go. Maybe if I give them some food, they'll be quiet. Yeah, that's better. So, something about them, they have access to eat from the bottom, but they like when I throw it out to them. I guess they would rather forage for it. But again, it's just not as easy to get by. And so a lot of people shy away from it. I really did it just to get out of the city, to get away from all the busy traffic, to get away from the public, to get away from seeing people I deal with on a daily basis in public. Because I've already had a few interactions when I used to live in that city. So I decided to move out of it, get away from it. That's not good. Well, their buckets are frozen over, so I gotta see if I can kind of break the ice off, even though it's gonna re-ice anyways. Oh no, that's solid. That's not going anywhere. So, let's pour this bad boy out right here for y'all. Wow. Again, we don't deal with this often. I am not a fan of the cold. I will not move anywhere where it's cold. That's just me. This thing is solid. Well, guys, I think the water lines are frozen. Even though I turned it off last night and had them drained, I guess there's still some water residual in the pipes. So again, another challenge that we come across. But at the end of the day, this is only going to last so long here. It's going to be maybe another day or so. And sorry, it'll be dried up by then. I just have to make sure that the main water source does not get frozen. Take a look at these little crackheads. God, I love them, but they're so frustrating. Especially the Great Pyrenees. These guys, for some reason, if they get out, if the goats get out, they will stay in the area and forage by the time I get home from work. However, if Zeus, the Great Pyrenees, gets out, he likes to take them on adventures with his little weird tucked lip. He likes to take them out on adventures, and then they end up at neighbor's house and multiple houses down the road. So as you can see, I'm still working on their shelter. It is definitely in progress and going slow, mainly because it's expensive. And their water's frozen too. Cool. So at least they have some water. Let me just break it up a bit. Find a nice little rocker stick I can hit it with, or just wet myself. Yep, sure. Cool. So, guys, this is a goat pen. Again, it's nothing fabulous. There's trash everywhere because of things they've torn up and gotten a hold of that I still have yet to clean up. I don't know what to say. I mean, I'm doing the best that I can with the one-man band. So it really is, I mean, everybody can judge, everybody can say what will, won't work. We don't have the pretty homestead or the shelter or the 10s and 20s or 50s of cleared up acreage with just pasture for animals to graze, or the manpower to be able to constantly move them. But I try to get them out on grass every once in a while with an electric fence, put them in there temporarily, so that way they have the ability to basically be able to forage and get out of their pen. But the funniest part that I think is funny is I follow lots of goat pages on Facebook, goat groups, I guess you can call them. And a lot of people on there have really nice properties, really nice shelters, really nice setups for their animals, and vets on standby, things like that. And I still see more go wrong with their animals than I have seen gone with mine. The worst I've had is scours. They've had diarrhea. That's probably the worst I've seen. I lost one that was real young, and she probably just couldn't get all the nutrients and battle whatever she had. However, all the other goats were in the shelter and around her, and they didn't get sick. So I think I've been doing okay so far. So I don't know what to say. It's not easy, but it's fun. It's rewarding. It gives purpose. Zeus, come here. But you really have to enjoy this if you're gonna put up with all the crap that comes along with it. It's not for everybody, but I kind of wish it was, because this is a better way of living. I mean, you get to do whatever you want here. Nothing beats actually doing what you want in your property without being told otherwise. I mean, I lived in subdivision, I lived in apartments, I grew up in project housing. All the rules basically make you feel like you really don't own anything. So you're staying in somebody else's house that you pay for and feel like you own and can sell whenever you want. Or if you're renting, that's exactly what you're doing. And you don't get the freedom to do anything. I mean, you can't change the color of your door at your front doorstep, for God's sake. So I don't see how anybody would rather do that. It's easier because people do the work for you. You know, they make sure everybody's lawn is cut. They make sure there's a playground in the area. They make sure your trash is not left on the curb if that bothers you. However, I can leave tons of trash on my curb and nobody can tell me shit. So that's up to y'all on what kind of lifestyle you want to live. I'd rather have the least amount of restrictions. Again, we still have to pay property tax and technically never own the property, but it's better than being told when to put my trash can back at the end of my driveway less than 24 hours later. So at the end of the day, guys, I mean, it's not something I really thought I'd be doing, considering I grew up in the city my entire life. I work in the city. So I think that at one point I decided that getting out of the city and building a different type of life than I grew up with would be a challenge, but would be more rewarding at the end of the day. I mean, I've learned some electrical work, I've learned a lot of woodwork, learned plumbing work from remodeling the house. I've learned more about animals and livestock, and quite literally where the food comes from, down to dispatching and butchering. And I mean, all of those skills have been pretty invaluable. And I've learned more in the year that I've been here than I have in, I would say, the last 4 years of being an adult. So I just want to create a YouTube channel, one, as a hobby for myself, two, maybe to motivate some people to make that decision that they've been holding back on, to decide whether or not they want to pull the trigger on this type of lifestyle, or whether they'd enjoy it, or how hard it'd be. Because all the YouTube channels out there, everybody has wife, kids, girlfriend that lives there. They have help one way or another. And everybody that says they work a full-time job may, but they also have somebody else that stays home full-time, or they work a full-time job from home, which I don't care what anybody says. If you work a full-time job from home and you have an emergency on the homestead, you can still step away from it very briefly and take care of your situation. Being full-time away from the house means I don't find out until I get home at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, midnight. When I was on night shift, I was coming home at 6 o'clock in the morning. I don't find out till I get back. So if an animal's dead, an animal is dead. And there's not much I can do about it. So I have to try and be proactive. But it doesn't always work out. So this is really just to show you that homesteading doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't have to be nice. The coop doesn't have to look great. The duck pen doesn't have to be immaculate. The goat pen doesn't have to be perfect. The animals don't have to have a mansion to live in that looks better than your home. And you don't have to have a real nice home to live in. And at some point, I'll give you a tour of the crapshoot that I live in, that I've had to remodel for quite some time now, just so I can get the property. All right, guys, so I'm gonna leave it with that and try and get some time to go to the gym right now, since today's a holiday and I am not heading to work today. And if you have questions, comments, concerns, advice, feel free to chime in. I know some people can be nasty. By all means, if you want to do that, do that. I literally make a living on dealing with people like that, so it's not going to hurt my feelings. If you need some advice, some information, I will help as much as I can. If you want to see certain types of videos and footage of things, please let me know. And who knows, I might kind of get into discussing a mental health realm in some episodes with some of my buddies at work, or even myself, because I currently do mental health full-time over there. And so if you have anything else to pitch in, feel free to say things. And thank you for watching. I appreciate it.